All right. What is up, everyone?
What's up?
What's going on?
How you
All
doing?
right. This is a reunion for Survivor Wisconsin 6th season One World. Welcome, everyone watching. We have 5 of the past players from this season, being Chris, Matt, Dolphin Sam, Collin, and Devin. I think there may be one other person joining us in just a little bit, potentially. We'll get to that if that happens. But obviously, we're going to be talking about the fan votes that happened this past week for the season, as well as also reviewing a lot of what happened this past season and getting opinions, as well as finding out more about what maybe people didn't fully see going on from the players themselves. So, first off, Chris, what is up with you? First, I'll give you an easier question than I did in the game.
I mean, I'm the champ, so I'm feeling great right now.
That streamlines perfectly, actually, and one of my questions for you, actually, because, Chris, the game's said and done. Everything that happens kind of aired out there now. So you're kind of in the winner's circle now. How do you kind of feel about yourself being in the winner's circle, given the game that you played and the circumstances around everything? Like, how do you feel like about yourself as a winner in the winner's circle?
I mean, I feel good. I'm happy to win. That was my goal coming in. I always say, well, always, but the 2 times I've said I want to make the merge, but this time I said that just to be safe. I came back to win. I wanted to get the win. It felt good. And yeah, I'm happy to be in the winner's circle.
Okay, I kind of want to also know this from you, because me and Devin talked a bit about this last week, but obviously I think the winner himself may have a different opinion on this, on like where you would rank yourself within the overall like group of winners we've had.
So I haven't watched Wisconsin season 1.
Good season, except for the second episode.
Season 3 I watched, like, kind of. I think Allie's a pretty good winner. Season 4, Hunter, I think I would put it at the top. Even though I didn't vote for him to win. It was just a good season. Season 5, Mike. I mean, I don't want to like diss on people's games really in terms of a ranking, but I don't know. I feel like I faced a little more competition.
You have your hand up?
Yeah, I see him, Matt. We'll get to you in a second.
Oh, okay, sorry, Chris.
Yeah, no
I
worries.
was just going to say, where does season 2 rank?
But I was going to say a comment about Cabin Fever. I know Rail played like the immaculate game or the perfect game, but I don't know about like the quality of player in that season. So that's all I'll say. That's my banter mostly with Sam. It's not with the other people on that season. But
so you kind of think of yourself as like the higher amongst the Wisconsin winners is what I'm hearing.
I mean, I'd say like top 3. I think you guys said I was like around like 4 or 5. I don't know.
I think
it's hard for me to rank.
At 4.
I think if I recall correctly.
I think I'd be 3 and then Sam would be 4.
Gotcha.
All right. Okay, I'll come back to you in a few minutes, Chris, because there's a fun question I want to ask Matt first. You actually may be able to give some interesting insights to. Now, Matt, like I said before, the game's said and done. Everything's aired out. I think the final tribal we had, I think I said it last week, that I personally think it was one of the most meh final tribals because I didn't feel like there was a lot going on. You know, there was a lot of people who clearly already had their minds made up before the final tribal. So I kind of want to personally hear from you. You were one of the bigger names of the season. Do you think that the jury gave you an actual fair opportunity to campaign for your game at the final tribal? Or do you think that they just already said, you know, the hell with it and didn't even give you a chance at the end?
That's a good question, Richie. I think 90% of those, I'd say 90% of those people already had their mind made up. Those 4 girls might have been some of the worst players we've had in Survivor history. I mean, they voted for me. They tried voting me out every single time. They failed miserably every single time. And Julia, I mean, might have been the worst player we've had. And I think they already had their mind made up going in. Thank you, Devin, for the vote. I appreciate it. And then Alejandro coin flip. I've never seen that happen. That's another dumb player move. That kind of shows the strength of the season in itself. And yeah, I mean, let me preface this by saying there's just one person on this video call right now, currently, who led the tribal council in a 15-minute speech on how I should not win this game. And he himself, and I have the receipts, he himself said, I hope Matt doesn't butter up to the tribal council.
I love this.
So I'm like, okay, fine, cool, whatever. And of course, like I said, he was mad at me for saying thank you to Christian and Richie, which I feel like everyone should do to start. They hosted a game that they could have wanted to play in. So I'm going to say thank you for hosting it. I thought they did a good job, minus the 3-person tribe. However, and then I'm winding back. I'm going back to Cabin Fever, going through the tape and whatnot. And Dakota asked Sam a question. Like, I think it was like something along the lines of why didn't we why did you get me out? And Sam's first sentence, you know what, Dakota, you're a really great player and all this buttering up. And I'm like, didn't you just it didn't make any sense. So I think I had a very unfair chance going in with those girls anyway. They tried voting me out every time and they couldn't. And then I never got any of their votes. So yeah, I don't think the tribal council was fair. And then it also didn't help that we had a 15 impromptu speech on why I shouldn't win.
Okay. Okay, Sam, I'll get to Sam, and then Chris, I have somebody else for you in response to Matt's thing there. So Sam, you go first.
Couple things. Response. It was not 15 minutes. 1. 2, I did make it very clear. Devin was there. I said, do not let anyone affect your decision. These are just everybody's opinions. I said that. I don't know. I don't remember the episode. Was that in the episode when I said that? I was very clear on you should have your own opinion. 2, I don't think. If I said nothing, I still think the girls were voting against you. I think we can all agree. 3, no, besides Devin, and the girls wouldn't say anything. Am I wrong?
That's why I think it was one of the worst finals. Flat out.
They just didn't say anything at all. So, and then go to the Dakota thing. To me, it felt like to me, she asked, why didn't you vote for me? I explained that I thought this was my best spot. The best chance for me was in this situation. When I asked Matt that's just when you go, to me, when you went out of your way before you even got any questions and just went to basically every single person and told, it didn't feel very strategic to me. And you even admitted in the final tribal, Chris played the better game.
Chris, that's how you were.
If you disagree, let me know. We'll go to Chris next. Or if anybody else disagrees, please chime in.
I mean, I'll interject. I only said it to Devin and Collin. I only said sorry to those two. I didn't feel bad for Miranda or Abby.
Maybe it was just because when I said buttering up, you just happened to thank someone. Maybe it was just that contrast when you just thanked Richie and Christian for how good of a game it was. And I know, and spending time with you during the game, that was a lie to begin with. You didn't believe anything you said about that at all.
I thought Richie and Christian.
Stop it. Clower can back me up here.
He also didn't thank Alex. He didn't thank Alex.
No, I did. I'll go back to the tapes. I did.
That almost makes sense.
Alex, I see you in the chat.
But Chris, you can back me up here when Matt says, "Oh, you guys ran such a great game." No offense, Richie. That was not Matt's opinion at all. Chris.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so when you start out with a lie, when you start out with a lie, it just felt a little disingenuous to me. If anyone else disagrees, please chime in.
Well, Sam,
the only problem I had with this season was the 3-person tribe.
No more. That's everybody knows the truth.
And no offense, Richie, but it might have been one of the worst Final 3 challenges of all time. But that's what I'm saying.
You just had 4 different things. I loved it, but I hated everything else.
I loved Richie's enthusiasm the whole time. He did a great job. It felt like Devin was hosting, with the enthusiasm.
Richie, I don't want to offend you.
Richie didn't show any enthusiason.
You're lying.
I was trying to say one thing, brother. That one's on me now. What are we talking about?
Christian didn't show any enthusiasm.
Matt, you're lying. Chris,
in what world did Richie not show any enthusiasm?
Richie was way better than Christian. I'll get that's not even a question for me. But to compare,
Richie was enthusiastic as he could be.
That's
all you can ask for. And no offense to Hunter, I played in the season Hunter hosted. He sucked.
I just want to comment
Try
a little
playing
bit.
with him, Matt. Try playing against him 2 to 3 times and then see how
That's not my point, Richie. The point is that I thought you did a good job, like guest hosting.
I agree.
I truly believe I didn't have any effect on you losing. Maybe you disagree, but I truly believe it. Devin can comment on that later.
Moral of the story, to answer your question, Richie, was the girls that were just the worst players of all time.
And that's what I wanted to respond to.
Yeah, Chris, I actually was about to ask how you felt about. I kind of want to ask Chris how if you thought the jury gave him an unfair chance in the jury, or what you thought of it. Because obviously, I think it might differ from like finalist to finalist on that situation at hand. Especially Chris, with you being the other one that was sitting there who didn't hear what the jury was thinking.
Well, Matt, I mean, he says the girls were the worst players of all time, but he openly admits in the episodes this is his first time talking to him, and it's like the finale. So I don't really know how he can say that. I think I earned my win because I was close with all the girls at one point. Obviously, we had to vote off in these little tribes, which sucked. But I don't know. I don't want to say I would win against Julia because that's tough to say. But I think I was a lot closer with the girls than maybe the tape showed or maybe people thought. And that's... I don't know. I think that's the truth. I think there are good players in there. I think Caitlin was actually a good player. I think she kind of recognized what was going on. The rock draw.
Good player?
Great. Not great. But
I was waiting for it.
She made the worst decision we've had on the show.
She was better than Abby and Julia.
Hey, well,
but she was better than Abby and Julia.
Is that hard to do?
I just think you're mostly saying this based on the fact. I mean, you admit it. You never talked to them. You don't even know.
Abby. I talked to Abby.
Chris,
Abby and I were close.
If he won, he would say this is the greatest cast in the history of Survivor.
Richie, to answer your question, I think I earned my win, and I think it was anti-Matt, and that's how it was painted. But I think I did enough to win in their minds too.
So you think that the jury treated Matt fairly then with the win as all from your perspective then is what I'm hearing?
No, not 100%. It is some anti-Matt. There's there's something to be said about that, but that's from his doing as well. It's not like that's why I chose him to bring him in the final with me because there's always going to be a little anti-Matt. But I love how Devin and Richie brought this up. As soon as we're sitting outside and Matt brings out that phone and starts looking at his speech, it was game over.
I was actually bring that up before Sam. When the minute he pulled out his phone, I remember Sam. You literally looked down and you're
roll my eyes.
You started shaking your head. I remember that. I immediately had to cover my mouth, and I'm like, "Dear God, it's happening!" I
don't think that was just more funny to me. To be honest with you, that was funny to me.
Right. To be fair, Matt,
I've never seen Devin. Has anyone ever done that?
I will say that.
Maybe someone asked. Has Devin, that's ever happened?
I don't think it has. I know, Matt, you basically did that because of Barstool Survivor, right? Pretty much how they did it like that.
Rhea won. Rhea read off her phone.
Yeah, but she read it off her phone. That's why she won.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really think it was I thought it was kind of funny, but I didn't really care. I mean, people can do what they want, But to Matt and Chris, Sam and Chris, I get why they think it's funny.
I think it just shows you were
the only people that knew it because those other girls probably didn't care / know what was going on.
Well, when one guy shows up with written notes and the other one's just speaking to him, you kind of know this guy, he's got it under control. And you had to dig deep. You had to write everything down to touch on all your points.
Matt, can I ask Matt a question?
Okay, sure. Yeah, ask him the question.
Do you
ask him a question to keep this going?
I think it's fair to say Chris had a more strategic game. Is that fair to say?
Probably, yeah.
Okay, so I don't know why
I think Chris had more control.
I'm not upset that I lost in any way, shape, or form.
Well, I got a text about that hour-long speech I apparently give before we.
Well, that was crazy and bullshit, but that's besides the point.
I don't think I influenced anybody. I really don't.
Well, when you give a 15-minute rambling speech, I think you might influence 15 minutes.
Who's listening to Rail?
My favorite reunion.
Here's my thought. I'll chime in, and then you got to probably ask more questions. But
yeah, I was about to. I just didn't want to interrupt you, Devin.
I think I think Collin, Miranda, Julia, and Abby and Caitlin. Maybe not Caitlin. I think they all kind of had their decision made already. just because I think they thought Chris played a better game and was more social and easier to talk to than you, Matt. And I do think it was a little unfair. I don't feel like they really heard you out. I don't know if what you would have said would have changed anything personally at all. I think if you would have connected with them more during the game, it might have been different. But
it's kind of hard to connect with Trey voting out every time.
I think in general, I think Chris had more control, just in general, because if Chris and I would have communicated more or a little bit more, we could have got you out. I mean, really could have. So that was like my deciding factor in Chris was, I think in general he had more control out of the two of you. So
mine was Matt saying that Chris played the better game. I was like, well, no, that's
and Collin, didn't Chris come for you both times you played pretty much? So it's not like you have a bias towards him, right? I mean, didn't he?
Yeah. I mean, we really didn't even talk the whole. Yeah. I mean, we really didn't the whole game.
Yeah.
All right. So I don't want to cut off.
Get us back on track here.
Anything you guys are saying, but I do have to keep this going and ask some more questions. I do have questions for all of y'all here. So Matt, arguably, I would say you're probably more of a bigger name coming out of the season, and even especially this reunion show, and you're more of the villain now coming out of the season. I don't think that was really a thing. I referred to you as the Russell Hands like several times throughout the season, in like the breakdowns. Like, what are kind of your thoughts on kind of being the villain? Like, do you care? Do you not care? Like, what do you think about just that in general?
Well, when you're the end villain, you gotta embrace it, and you gotta be. And I genuinely think that if I'm not in this season, I don't know if anyone's gonna watch this season. That's my 2 cents on it.
All right.
And Chris played a great game, and there's nothing to attack Chris on here, but he had the most boring win I've ever seen in my life.
I'm gonna pull something from head coach of Oregon football. His name's Dan Lanning.
Oh, Jesus.
Halftime speech. They're playing Colorado. Pre-game speech playing Colorado.
This is an hour max power, by the way. I don't know if
they're fighting for clicks. We're fighting for wins. I went for the win. You went for the clicks. It is what it is. I got the win. I'm happy with it.
That's actually
my game's boring.
Yeah,
Chris, my game's boring. I know, but
Chris. So that's actually.
I'd rather have this channel go to the moon.
Okay.
All right, Chris, I'm actually really glad you brought it up, Chris, because that leads me to one other question I do actually have for you, is that every winner usually has a moment in the game where it's very clearly like this is the point where they're going to end up finding a way to win no matter what happens, where everyone left that's going against them, they will probably win against them. Like, I want to know, because you were talking a lot about the game you played, how you feel like you played a great game. What was kind of that game point, like that game-changing moment that you believe was like the point where when everyone else is there, you're winning no matter what?
That's a good question. I said it in my confessional. As soon as Sam came back in the game, it was over, because then we had 3-3, and I knew Sam and Matt would vote with me. I didn't think they'd vote me out. I knew that I could make a move to get one of them out at the end, and then I'd be the winner because I'd go against the other one, and the other one wasn't really as well liked as I was. So I liked the position I was in socially when I got to the merge. And then the people that I aligned with, Sam not as much, but Matt, I mean, it was kind of easy because he was just so hated. So it was like, okay, this is easy. I'll take him to the end instead of voting him off, and then I can pretty easily beat him. So I would say once we merged with the 6 remaining, I said it in the confessional, I think I'm going to win. I truly thought I was going to win at that point, and I never really felt in danger, like from 6 on. So,
all right, cool. Next up, I know I haven't got a chance to talk to you much, Sam. But Sam, last time you played Cabin Fever, you were the perfect winner game, the first one we'd ever seen. Very quieter of a game, I think, is the best way to say for that season, but you did control things from behind the scene from a much quieter standpoint that season. You come into this season immediately right off the bat, at least to me, you came off a lot more strategically aggressive than you were previous seasons. You have to fight your way back into the game. You're fighting Klein, at least from what I've seen, like you're very strategically aggressive, like, and ultimately like I said this last week, maybe some people disagree, where I kind of felt like you were, instead of last time where you were at the top of everything, it always felt like you were almost at the bottom of the food chain in like every single round. Would you kind of think of your game as like, I don't want to say a fall from grace, but like, do you think of your game as like a bit of like a downplay from like last time you played, or like, am I making sense or am I phrasing that weird?
I think I just could never really find my footing, to be honest with you. Even from the first vote, I remember having no idea what was going to happen and regrettingly voting out Alejandro. And it just, and then the try swap didn't really go my way. I get voted out. That was, it is what it is. But then, I win the comeback challenge, great. But even then, you have Matt and Chris, who obviously got closer because they were together the whole time. Then the other three had just voted me out. So I just felt like I just don't think there's a lot I could have done, to be perfectly honest with you.
So
go ahead.
Continue. Sorry, I didn't interrupt you. I just remember you said about stuff you did do. One of the things that I personally want to get a little explanation on is because I know some people who are watching kind of understood certain moves you made, and some people were maybe more confused at what was going on in your mindset. And I know one of those moves was the move against Devin, which a lot of people attributed to you. So, and I know some people, I think I kind of understood where you're going at with it. Some people didn't. A lot of people quoted that you just said that he was a threat. So I was wondering is there anything you want to give more into like your mindset behind that vote, as well as just like what you were thinking of in general?
I just thought eventually, I thought my best chance was with Chris and Matt. And honestly, no offense, Collin, but it probably would have been Collin if he didn't win immunity, just to split up him and Miranda. That would have probably been our move, I'm guessing. But it's like, if Matt goes, like, I just feel that like I'm in a bad spot, especially if we swap. And we could have voted. And then Abby, I think, was the closest girl to us. I would say Chris and Matt. That's probably correct. And it just felt like I didn't feel like I had a lot of places to go. That's like the basic thing. And I think Chris and I were the driving force behind the Devin vote. Matt was just kind of doing it out of desperation because he really had nowhere to go. And it just felt like, if we vote out, I think it would have been Abby or maybe one of the girls. It's just, I think in our heads, I just think Devin probably goes with Collin there just because that's the majority if we vote out someone else. That was just our thinking. And I thought my best bet was with Matt and Chris. And I really don't think, looking back on it, the entire game, I just don't know what I could have done differently. Maybe, honestly, switching the first vote to a girl, because I think I could have worked with Alejandro.
Do you think that...
Go for it.
Sorry, I didn't interrupt you. I thought you were done. Do you think that if you kept Devin around longer, do you think that there is a chance that you do make it further than you did, or do you think that he just overtakes you?
There's a chance, sure. Against the tribe swap, and then 3 rounds of that, that could have screwed everything up anyways. And it kind of did for me. I was voted up. But, I could have went, but again, we didn't have that much time. We're all in the same room. It was just such a weird dynamic. And I didn't want to tell any of the girls anything because I truly felt like they were going to go back to the girls and tell them everything I just said. So that was like the frustrating part. It just felt like it was hard to go to anyone to try to make a move because there were too many connections. The girls were obviously together. It just felt like I didn't have a lot of places to go. That's the entire game. And in the end, I could have voted out Chris there at the final 5. Matt would have wanted to kill me and probably would have went to Collin and Julia and said, let's vote him out. So I just don't think I really, and against Collin and Julia, I think I lose. I think I could have talked my way. If I was at the end with Chris, I think I could have talked my way into a win. I feel like, no offense either. I don't think either of their jury speeches were that strong. I don't know if you guys disagree, you could comment. But they were pretty similar. You just kind of thanked everybody and said you're a good player. You guys were together. You guys played. You were on the same side for every vote. There wasn't that much else for you to say. But I think because I went through a lot of adversity to get there, so I think I could have talked my way. But with Collin and Julia, they had connections. It just was I was battling uphill the whole time, and I really don't regret anything, to be honest with you.
All right, Sam, before I ask you your next question, I know we kind of saw on Collin's screen before that Miranda, I think, should be there on Collin's side.
Yep.
Miranda, how you doing tonight?
He isn't there, positive.
Okay, so she probably didn't hear me ask her how she's doing.
She's got one in.
Oh, she's got one in? Okay, how you doing, Miranda?
Can you hear her or no?
I don't think I can, unless you guys
can.
You can't? Deaf.
Oh, I don't think they can hear you. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can you hear her?
I can kind of hear you now.
A little bit?
A little bit. All right, just wanted to say Miranda was on there. Miranda, we'll definitely have some questions for you in a little bit. I do have Sam. I at least have one more question before I move on. So, Sam, you were talking just about Chris, his win, his final tribal pitch. So, obviously, I think I talked a little bit last week about how I think you are one of the top tier winners we've had throughout the Idol Identifier series as a whole.
Thank you, Richie. I appreciate it.
That's one of the worst comments I've ever heard.
Well, he won the perfect game. No matter what cast you're up against, that's not easy to do. Even if we're against a bunch of idiots, guess what? That idiot could just throw an idiot vote at your way. So I'm just going to leave it at that.
You have a question in there, Richie?
No, I just want to say this. How do you think, how would you, rank or think of Chris's winning game?
I got nothing against Chris. Chris, we had very similar wins, I would say. I think Chris would agree with that, just the way we played, the way tribe swaps went. I think just because of the Rocks situation, I just feel like we had more players in my season that were trying to play the game. Whether how well you think they were trying to play, I don't think that's a crazy take. When you look at whether it was Dakota, Jasper, you might have an opinion. He was trying to play. It felt like we had less players on this season that were trying to play. So I would put myself higher. But if Chris wants to put himself higher, that's his prerogative. I don't think it's that big of a deal.
So I don't think I was meaning Dakota or Jasper. I mean, there's a guy in the season that never heard of Pong before. He didn't even know what it was.
Well, yes, but okay, what does that have to do with the game?
It's PTSD right there.
Yeah, sorry, man. But it's like, I mean,
that wasn't.
I got a funny story because he was like, we were up there in the balcony, and he goes, Devin, someone set up those cups, and he goes, "What's that?" I'm like, I think I automatically win, and then of course I lose. So.
Devin, did you rank? I didn't see it. Did you rank the winners with me and Chris in it?
Yeah, we ranked the 6 Wisconsin winners. So
both of you together or both of you separate?
We did it separately.
Yeah, it was on last week's breakdown. For people watching, that wasn't last week's breakdown. Go watch it in the season if you haven't already. But yeah, no, Devin, that is something we should do sometime. Rank the winners. That'll be really fun.
Well, I would say yeah. I mean, we're both biased, so it's kind of like we're gonna say our wins are better.
That's why I'm asking you, from your bias and your perception, would you rank him low tier, middle tier, high tier, just kind of like that?
I would probably rank Chris right below me. That's probably what it's so hard though, because you can't control the cast you go against.
Right.
And I don't like. I've said before in some past seasons, somebody might argue I played a better game, but things work out the way you work out and you get voted out. The second season I played, I was really in line to do well. Unfortunately, an idol happened and I got voted out. I think Devin, I was on my way to win that season. I truly believe that. And sometimes it doesn't work out, and sometimes you get in my winning season, I get marooned at the right time where I don't have to go to tribal, and I end up. Now, one might say the tribes I was on always won. I wonder why, because I was on. No offense, Matt. But it's I was happened to be good at the challenges that we did in that season, and it's just so random. It's if you win, you win, but obviously you want to rank them differently. But it's just when Chris says throwing stones at the cast I was against, it just is a little Matt, if you agree. I mean, the Rocks. You got to go to the Rocks. That is 10 times worse than anything in my season.
Well, no, you actually might have had something worse because that what was it, tug of war, and that Jasper guy goes, "I would have won if I had cleats." It's nobody had cleats. We were all wearing shoes, dude. And he wanted to go.
I don't think that's worse.
I don't think
that's worse than throwing rocks to blow yourself out.
They showed emotion. They showed loyalty. They showed compassion.
Show loyalty to vote themselves out. What do you mean?
They showed emotion. They wanted to.
Do you hear yourself? I mean, Devin, what's your 2 cents?
Will forever go in history of worst quotes
on the cast between the 2 seasons.
Just who had the better win, and it's close. I would say.
In mine, I put you one above him as well. I mean,
okay, good. Glad that's the Idol Identifiers page official rankings. I'm glad that's basically what everybody thinks.
Nothing's official. I mean, the beauty about Survivor is whether I agree with someone's opinion or not, everyone it's it's so fluid. Like it's because you can be the cast was better. Oh, Sam didn't get a vote, but Chris played really good socially. He won those challenges at the end. I mean, you could it's so many things you could argue.
Right.
I do think it's a little more telling how people do when there's really good players around them. But I mean, at the same time, you did very good against good players in the past, and Chris, the first time he played against 4 of the best players we ever had, and he almost won. So, when you're ranking individual seasons, it's different. But I mean, I don't know. I think it's just telling that you guys are good players. When you can not easily win, but pretty handily be able to beat lesser players. I mean, I think it's pretty telling that means you're not bad at the game. So.
And I just feel at this point, I'm at the point where it's when I play, I'm either first or I'm in the final 4. It feels I'm either first out or I make it to the end. And I always said, I'll always play again. I like doing it. It could be my 17th time. I'll always do it if you ask. It's fun. Matt says he's done. He's not done. He'll come back if you ask, if he's available. I guarantee it. If you do a heroes versus villains, and you say you're the first villain we asked, the pride, he can't put that pride away.
Well, Sam, I have a question now for you off of that. Say there's a heroes versus villains in the future. Say you're on it. Do you think you're on it? And if you are, do you think you're a hero or a villain?
That's a good question. Devin and Matt, Chris, what do you guys think?
I think that idol thing this year. That idol thing, that was horrible. What you tried to do, you tried to blatantly cheat in the game.
No, she goes, "Do you want the idol?"
That's crazy.
Do you want the idol? I said yes.
No, you say no. You can't do that.
Oh yeah. Okay.
No integrity.
Matt, you would have said no. Stop it.
I already had 3.
That is the biggest amount of BS I've ever heard.
I already had one in my shoe at that point.
Sam has no integrity.
To go to your question,
what I'm hearing is that Sam's
go to your question, Sam. I do think you're still a hero, to be honest. Because
thank you, Devin.
I think villain is more to people's faces versus you might say something more on this camera. Matt, maybe if you did that more.
I think you can be a quiet villain. I think that exists, but I just feel
you are very on both ends of it. But I would lean hero probably.
But then everybody, if it's everybody's been done villainous things. It's more about you can I don't know. I think just in general, if you're a social player, usually you're a hero. That's just kind of how it works out. If you're socially talking to people, that works out to that's usually a hero, I would guess. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. I just want to say this. Being a villain's not a bad thing. It is villain. I always say
I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
Devin, you will agree with me from your first season. I think you would definitely agree with me on that. Villains have more fun. I'll let you finish what you're going to say. Then I want to ask Collin a couple questions because we haven't got a chance to talk to him yet. And I don't want to leave him out.
Just sitting here by myself.
All right. I just want to say to that, Sam, before I go on to Collin's questions.
Do you want me to finish?
Yeah, is there anything else you want to say? Finish up what you were saying.
If anybody's watching, you should apply. If you apply, I guarantee you'll play. That's all I know. But it's fun. I enjoy it. If they do another one, I'll play. It's fun. I enjoy it. I live in the area, so if we do another one, I'm in. Right, Flower? There you go. Matt, give me the thumbs up, man.
This is my announcement. I guess they put me on the spot here. I'm officially retiring from Survivor Wisconsin.
Matt, it's coming out of your mouth.
For the second time, I'm retiring.
Second time. Yeah, okay, we'll see you in Heroes versus Villains too. Collin, next up, we're going to go to you because we were talking about great winners before. Yeah. And obviously, I think you're a great winner.
Thanks, Richie.
You're amazing, Collin.
What did you say?
You're amazing, Collin.
You are too. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay. Honestly, I will say for people watching, if you want to watch a great game to emulate, go watch Collin's winning season, Survivor Last Chance, Ninth Whitewater season. So, Collin, you honestly looked like you did have a lot of fun. You were playing a great game. I personally think you had a great shot at winning if you got to the actual end. However, there was a lot of talk that we had last week about you and Julia regarding how Julia, a lot of people were thinking about voting for Julia, partially because pregame connections. So I kind of want to know from you, do you think you win against Julia? Because that was your end game plan. You kept saying it over and over after Caitlin got voted off that you wanted to take Julia to the end. You think you can beat Julia? Looking back now, it's all aired out, everything's said and done. Do you actually think you beat Julia, or do you think you just narrowly lose out to her? From your perspective.
I think I would have won. I think I made enough moves, and I think with the picking of the rocks, and if I was able to pull off Chris voting off Matt, I think I would have had it.
Okay, so anyone else any of the other four of you or Miranda want to chime in on that just to see if that's actually what's going on or any other perspectives before?
I think it's a tie.
I
think that deciding vote's probably Miranda.
I forgot about that. Never mind, it's not a tie.
Yep. I disagree. I think it could be unanimous Collin, honestly.
Does Miranda want to
Caitlin probably votes for Julia.
Chime in on that?
I'm guessing Alejandro votes for Julia. I'm just pulling that one.
I would think so.
Caitlin went to rocks for Collin. I mean, you think she's not voting for him? I don't know.
Okay, I don't want to be offensive, so I'm not going to say anything.
You say you don't want to be offensive.
I don't think she would have thought about why she's voting for Judas. Would have went and think, all right, I'm just voting for this person. I don't think she would have thought about that at all.
I think Collin wins.
I think Collin wins like pretty.
I kind of forgot about the Miranda part. I just put the girls.
I think it's probably 5-3 or 6-2 Collin.
Yeah, we probably. I mean, we were just talking about like if people win. I want to get your opinion. Matt and I have argued about this. I think at Final Four, Matt's best chance was against me, like hands down.
Okay. I want to ask Collin a couple other questions too. Not that I want to cut this conversation short, but Collin, the rock draw was probably one of your most stressful moments I think I've seen in like any of your seasons playing, even more than your first season where you were on the tribe and just ate shit every single round over and over and over. And I see this round, or this specific round I'm referring to, the final six, the rock draw, you were like about to shit bricks. Like you were like borderline, like you were borderline me anxious. That's how at least I thought it was. And then obviously it was a lot of fun comments. You were like, Caitlin, did you really? And she's like, we're gonna have to see. Like I want to know like more about what was going through your mind in that scene, because I honestly argue that was one of the funniest moments we saw, and I think that's also the third, I believe, if I recall correctly, third rock draw we've ever done in the Idol Identifier series, if I recall correctly. Devin, you would probably know 100. Actually, fourth. Sorry, I forgot fourth because the first seaon. Sorry,
but you got something wrong.
I don't know. I didn't think that was gonna happen. And when it went to, I was just like confusion with Caitlin. I didn't know what she voted, so I was getting all pissed off at her. I'm like, but I don't know. I mean, I thought it was kind of cool. I thought it was cool, like show of loyalty, I guess. I mean, I thought it was fun. I don't know. I mean, yeah, it was stressful and all, but got me to the next round. So,
okay, Sam, I'll let you say something. Then I want to ask Collin another question too.
This whole loyalty thing, when people say they're loyal, you're loyal to everybody, to this one person, except for who you voted out. What does that even mean?
Yeah,
I don't like when people say they're loyal. I'm not naming names with somebody in this group, somebody in this call. Just don't say loyal. Just say you can say, oh, I was loyal to this guy, but don't say like loyal in general. Like you voted off other people. What do you mean you were loyal? Giving it like Lex vibes. Get out of here.
All right, Collin, that actually brings me to another interesting question. I actually almost didn't ask this because I didn't want to call out strategies that certain people do in their seasons, but I feel like I do see kind of you have a strategy like that where you're so good at pulling people in. You get like a close 2 to 3. Granted, some people say, oh, that's just making alliances, but I feel like every season I've seen you play, you kind of end up being able to pull 2 to 3 different people in. You get them like so loyal to you that essentially, like Caitlin, they will essentially take a bullet for you if they're given the chance to. Is that kind of just like how naturally that kind of ends up being like within your life? Is that kind of just something you do in the game, or is that kind of like intentional, unintentional? Like talk about that, because I'd love to hear about that strategically.
Yeah, I mean, I like to be very social in that aspect, and I try and use that to my advantage. So I think that also came into play where in the end where I was on my last leg, so I had to try and be as social as I can and try and pull, I just trying to pull either Chris or Matt under my wing and try and vote with me, and it almost worked. So I think my social game is strong enough to the point where I can say that's a pretty good strategy for me.
Right, and just to kind of go off topic here and just talk not just at people here, but people watching, I do think the social part of the game is a lot more important than people really recognize it to be. So, I mean, Dark Pros literally said they won at Borneo, that it's a social experiment. And Collin, I do think that's why you are one of the better winners in my book, is because you were one of the people who recognize it is a very social game and utilize that to your advantage. And now, I do think Chris also utilized that to his advantage. And Collin, I know I asked Sam this before, but I kind of want to hear from you on how you would kind of rank Chris in your book, considering that you are one of the other former winners that played in this season.
I think it's hard to... You mean like in this season or just in general?
Just kind of like ranking Chris as a winner, now that he's in a winner circle alongside you, like how would you rank him? Like middle, low tier, high tier, like thoughts about that?
I mean, every time I played with him, he's been very good in every aspect. I mean, both times I played with him, we didn't really talk too much. So I don't really know how he plays closely, but I know from afar that he's good in like every aspect. So I mean, I don't think I can give him a number, but I could rank him pretty high and say, regardless of who's in there or who he's playing against, he's going to get pretty far.
Okay, so I'm hearing that you think of him as like a higher rank overall is what I'm hearing, though.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's very strong in general. So, yeah.
I just want to say thank you to Collin for that. And
kind of butter me up over
for the next season.
Also,
already playing for the next season.
Well, I don't really want to interrupt, but and in terms of like game strategies, I feel like in that social aspect, I feel like I kind of play a little similar to Collin. And I think that's why, I don't know, he's become a target for me, because I think his social game is really good. And he's also obviously good in challenges. So, yeah. I think we're kind of similar players in that aspect, I guess. So.
Right, and I will kind of keep on with that, Chris. I do honestly think that when you were speaking at the end, it definitely reminded me of Tom Westman and Palau a little bit, with how you knowing to, like, I don't want to say kiss ass to the jury, but like you're definitely aware to, like, we're definitely aware of how you're talking to the jury. You're definitely trying to make the jury feel good, which is kind of the thing you need to do with the final tribal. If you have people leaving with a salty taste in their mouth, it's going to bite you in the ass, which unfortunately we saw with Matt. So, Chris, I will kind of argue. I do think that was, I shouldn't say argue, agree with you. I meant to say that is definitely something that I would definitely kind of agree with. So,
well, yeah, that's been something that's kind of helped me the first 2 seasons, I guess. Like, I mean, yeah, a lot of times I lie to people's faces and it still turns out that they like me. So, I don't know. I think it's just the social aspect is so important, like just talking to people.
I can't get away with that because I get caught real fast. If I play a social game and I start lying, I get caught like that, and then
that's why I try to never lie in the game. So I feel you with that, Collin.
Yeah, I slip up too fast.
I think, yeah, I'm probably not going to be able. If I do play again, I think I'd have to play differently. But I mean, it's worked 2 times.
Yeah,
I feel like it worked in Evolution to an extent. Yeah, but I mean, I feel like I would have a bigger target now. I just don't really get a target on me because I'm quiet, and that's lucky, I guess. But yeah, we'll see.
All right, so I don't want to turn it. Sorry, what?
With Matt, Chris said he's lucky because he says he doesn't talk. He's pretty quiet, so he doesn't get a target. I said, hear that, Matt? I don't know what it is, Matt. You just get revoked start. It's weird. I mean, you needed 2 idols to survive. That's wild. Has anyone ever played 2 idols back to back first 2 trials they've been to?
Not first 2 tribals. I was about to say Idol Sam and Last Chance, but I think you knew that one. I think you very much knew that one.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Richie.
All right, so I want to move on to the next person. I want to focus on the one newbie we have who played this season, Miranda. If she's able to come on. Miranda, hi again. How are you doing tonight?
It's gonna... This phone's about to die. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Oh, okay. There you go.
Yeah.
All right,
this
so
phone's
Miranda. All right, Miranda. So hopefully the phone doesn't die before I ask you the question. So you were one of the people who, I don't know if you heard, I did predict you as being the newbie who I thought was going to have one of the best chances of winning this season. You were one of my winner picks. And I actually was surprised you go up. I'm sorry, what did you say?
I said, how'd that play out for you, Richie?
Yeah, how did it play out for me? My winner picks were Matt, you, and Devin. So how did that play out for me, girl?
Not great.
Jokes aside, there was a lot of talks, a lot of thoughts. I feel like there was some talk about it, about why you went for Alejandro versus trying to skew the votes towards maybe someone else that you weren't 100% sure about. I kind of want to get into your mindset of like, why 100%? Like, now that it's all said and done, everything's been aired out, like why you went more for Alejandro versus trying to skew the votes towards maybe Chris, or not to the shit on Devin again, but like to go for Devin the first round, or go for Collin, or literally anyone else. Like, what made it you want to kind of just go along with the plan and go for Alejandro?
Okay, we'll just start from the beginning. I think like casting like, what was it, 5 brand new people who knew nothing about Survivor, and then casting 5 people who have played or won before was a little bit unfair. Like, I came in knowing absolutely nothing. I didn't know it was going to be like that intense, and none of them did. And I think like that caused for like no one played as hard as people that have played prior, because we're like, okay, we have no chance of winning because these people all know how to play. They have their strategies that's worked for them before. Like, they're just going to done
Right.
what they've done before. So I thought that was a little unfair. And I think by the end of it, all of us, like, and I can speak for everyone because I heard it, we were just like, okay, we're just not like giving up, but like, these people have already played. They already know what they're going to do. Like, we just want to be done. Like, this is, So I think that was hard. Going for Alejandro, I honestly have no idea. I didn't know what I wanted to do. Like I said, I've never even watched Survivor. I had no idea what to expect. And that kind of sounded like the group thing that we were doing. And I kind of wanted to like make friends with people out the get-go and like,
right. Well, making friends is always the right move to go though in this game.
So, yeah, I have no idea. I mean, would I do things differently? I have no idea because I've never done this before. So I don't know how it would like play out.
That actually does bring me to my next question, Miranda. And if you were to do things differently, or if you would think about things differently, like say that you make it past your boot round in the perfect world imaginable, like who goes out that boot round instead of you, and how would you have played the rest of the game? Like if it goes perfectly for you in the way you want, you get to the end with the person you want, you win. Like what does that look like for your game?
I have no idea because that was literally the first time I've ever played or watched Survivor. So I'm going to be so honest. I have absolutely no idea.
So was there anyone
I literally can't even tell you.
All right, so there's no one that you were hoping to at least get to like final 5 or final 6 with even, or final 2 or 3 or whatever.
I literally was like, I had no idea what I was doing. I was just playing whatever came to me. And I knew I was going to get out when it was like the 4 of us. And I was like, whatever. Like, I'm not even going to try to fight because it was already like... What? No, because Abby literally told me, she's like, we're voting you out. And I was like, okay. So I was like, okay.
Maybe she should
have home. That would have been the Matt. Abby tells her Matt she has an idol. Matt goes home. Oh, that would have been an all-timer.
I'll chime in. I'll chime in a bit with the newbies versus like how it was 5 big-time players, 5 new people. That's not initially what it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be like 2 friend groups against each other. So it would have been like 2 friend groups in different tribes. We just couldn't get enough people. And then second, I do think, which it's tough when I'm playing, like, no offense, Richie, but like and it's Christian too, but like there's things that happen with hosting that's like, oh, you should have been doing this just because I've done so much. I really do feel like if you guys would have sat and actually explained a lot of stuff about the game before it started to them, I think that would have helped a lot because they had no idea. I usually do that. But yeah, I think it might have been different if you guys were all playing with a bunch of new people, and then it would have been probably more fun for you guys because I think it just hurt everybody overall that we only had 10 people because I was kind of a last second addition because we couldn't find people, and I was saying like if we only have 10 people, I don't really want to play because it's like not a lot to go off of, but sometimes we just try to do it to do a season. But I do wish we would have gotten maybe all new people or would have been able to divide the friend groups into 2 different tribes, like 7 and 7 or something. I think it would have been more fun for you guys, but that's my 2 cents.
Who's going to be our
friend that it wasn't as fun for you guys?
Was there like a set tribe for our friend group that it was going to be?
Well, I was trying to get like you 3, and then I was trying to get Nate, and then I was maybe going to play. I didn't want to initially. We did try getting some other people, but it just I booked. Yeah, and we would have probably just had Collin join Miranda.
That would have been a bloodbath. Oh my gosh!
No, so that would have been more fun.
Brutal.
So yeah,
which is fair. Like it was still fun and stuff. It was just hard. Like
yeah,
because I literally walked in. I don't know. I had no idea who was playing besides the people that I invited, and I walked in and I knew all of you, and I knew all of you were friends, and I was like, okay. And I knew all of you have played before and won. I'm like, okay, well, this is gonna be great. I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't even know what Survivor's about. So here we go. So I was like, anytime someone like seemed somewhat trustworthy, or literally would tell me something, I'm like, okay, cool, let's just do it. Like, I don't know. I was flying by the seat of my pants the entire time. So obviously that did not get me far, but
right.
whatever.
But sometimes in Survivor, you kind of have to go off of the seat of your pants. Sometimes you have to play with the cards you're given, and sometimes you find out last second stuff can change, stuff can happen. I think like a rock draw is a perfect example of that because that's not something you plan to have a rock draw. So, I mean, I definitely don't think it's the worst thing in the world to play with the cards you're given, Miranda. So, I also want to ask you this because obviously you're the only one of the newbies that are here. And I know obviously you have a lot of talks for people who aren't here right now. But is there any comments that like regarding like the gameplay of any of the people here, including yourself and Collin, that they had that you'd want to bring up right now on their behalf since they're not here?
I wouldn't say so. Like, I mean, it's a game at the end of the day. We're all still going to be friends with who we came in as friends. Like, and it's not going to change anything. So I don't know. I think you have to do what you have to do to get to the end, like in any show, in any game. So
yeah, I know.
Obviously, the people that made it to the end did better than the people that didn't. That's just a fact. So you got to do what you got to do.
All right, I like that. Yeah, we have a comment from Alex who's saying that we'd like to have Miranda back, a whole new player season, and get to experience the full experience. And personally, I would love to see you back. Personal wise, I'd love to see you come back in a future season. I think some people are agreeing with me on that. I don't know if everyone does, but I personally would like to see you come back sometime for a second chance at least. Now I do want to give some love to someone who hasn't gotten a chance to talk with me one-on-one for certain questions, at least not at this point. Devin, you got, in my opinion, you got screwed. I actually did kind of feel bad for you. I think I told you that I was even like, I wasn't picking challenges for you specifically, but I was definitely kind of had you in mind of like, would Devin really think this is really fun to play? And like, what would he kind of perceive as like, because I think you're kind of like a great standpoint for that, being that you are one of the bigger names, one of the bigger legends, of the game. So, and speaking of legends, one of the questions I do have for you is that every season usually creates some form of a legend. Sometimes it's more of a minor legend. Sometimes maybe it's a bigger name type of legend, if you get what I'm saying. Do you think there was any type of legend on any level made this season from your perspective?
Really? Okay. My mic wasn't unmuting, of course, when I could talk. I mean, I think, like we already said, I think Matt, whether he says he's not going to play again or not, definitely established himself as one of the bigger winners, bigger villains, not winners. Sorry, that was Chris.
Very, very clear distinction.
One of the bigger villains we've had, and I mean, watching it back was awesome. Editing it personally, and I didn't know you did so many things. I think you should have. I don't think it would have mattered again, but you definitely should have sold like, I faked these idols because that was my thing at the point. Everyone knew I had idols. I'd use it to my advantage, so forth. But I think that could have helped you a little bit. So I think Matt established himself as like probably, besides Jasper, probably the biggest villains in Wisconsin at least. And then I think Chris just established himself like as a really good player. I mean, we saw like the potential and evolution in an all-star season. I mean, I think all these returners would be definitely like in the mix to come back. It just depends the theme and stuff. Yeah, I mean, they're definitely three of the bigger, all four of them. Collin, I associate more with Whitewater than Wisconsin in my head, but definitely Sam and Chris winning, and then Matt being such a big character, definitely like three of the bigger players of Wisconsin. And then Collin I mean, it's just we already know that he's big time player. So, yeah.
All right. Perfect. I like that. I know we've talked a lot over the breakdown, so I feel like I've gotten a lot of your thoughts for certain things before, but obviously in the past, in the breakdowns, we've had to kind of stifle it down a bit to not spoil what was going on. Now that everything's all aired out, it's all out there, I want you to kind of fully explain more about, like, I think we kind of went through this like weeks ago, but kind of like now that you've seen everything play out, I wanted you to talk about how, like, say you make it past your boot round, you get to the end and win. How is that like in your perfect world with everything that was going on? Same twists, same challenges, everything. In your perfect world, how does it all work out, and how do you get to the end and win, and against who?
Well, I mean, it looks like the key to win this season was to go with Matt, clearly. So, I mean, like I said, like, obviously everybody knows I wasn't mad at all when I got out, and I wasn't complaining the whole day that I was pissed I got out. I wasn't mad at all at anybody. Obviously not. I was very pissed just because I felt like I didn't get a shot. But we've heard that a million times, especially the people that played. Yeah, I mean, like I said, in my confessionals, I wasn't planning on going for Matt at any point. I was hoping to ride with him. I wanted to play with Collin because I never thought I would honestly get to, just because I usually have to host. Don't know how far we would have went together because I said right away, I'm like, Collin and Miranda are going to choose themselves over me, and if, like we saw maybe what would have happened, I think if Collin and Miranda are at the end with me, I think a lot of their friends vote for them regardless of gameplay. So, I mean, I do think I wanted to go deep with Matt. I didn't really have it, like, I didn't have it planned out like, oh, I'm going to line with all these people, but I just wasn't going to go for the big guys right away. I just wanted to try to create some trust, and Sam did play me like a fiddle. I was pissed about it, but he did definitely make me feel comfortable. That's why I was so mad, because he went out of his way to make me feel really, really comfortable before the tribal. So I was just honestly just bitter about it because, as Sam said, he couldn't find his footing, and I don't know if it would have been me, but maybe me staying in the game might have been it for him. If Matt and Chris were so together, maybe me and Sam would have been together. I know he probably doesn't believe I would have went with him over Collin, but I honestly don't know. You know, who knows with this? Who knows if I stayed in those swap stupid 3-person tribes? Sorry, Richie. What would have happened?
I love how everyone thinks that was my decision.
Well, sorry, you're the only host here, so sorry. But so yeah, I mean, ideal world, I go to the end with Matt and maybe win just because no one likes him, I guess. I do think it'd be tough to try to win against one of those 3 guys that have won the game now. But I think I definitely, if I got to that point, I feel like I would have had a good saying, and I could definitely, you know, I've thought about what I've said obviously a million times, but I don't think it's ever going to happen because I don't think I'm going to get a fair shot ever. Maybe I will with a bunch of good players. Besides, I think at the end of the day, like we've said, my last thing I'll say is I just think with 10 people, I think that just kind of screwed everybody in some way. Obviously not Chris because he won, but we saw how good Chris was with 14 people, which is like the normal amount. So I think if we had more people and maybe another bigger threat or two, I think it would have changed a lot of things. And yeah, I don't know. I wish I would have gotten to play just a little bit more since I waited so long to play, but you know, I can't change how big of a threat and pose a threat just because of, you know, all I do. So yeah.
All right.
I was a little upset about Devin getting out so early because I wanted to be the one to get him out. So
Devin, response.
Devin, if I would have known the swap was going to last for 3 rounds before that, I would have reconsidered the plan.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
I didn't. I honestly thought, like, all right, if it comes 1 round, you can survive it, then go back to individual field. If I knew it was 3 rounds, I probably would have pushed really hard to get one of the girls, just because when you swap, you want to be on the good side. So if I knew that was coming, I probably would have reconsidered.
I mean, I think it was fine. I thought it was kind of cool going to Tribes of 4 for maybe 1 round and then go back. I just think when you're going with 3 people, it's pretty damn tough what to do. Yeah, I mean, look, like Collin said, he wanted to get me out. I mean, I don't know when I would have made that move if I would have done that or not. I honestly wasn't planning that far ahead. I was just, my mindset was the first like 2 or 3 rounds, I'm not going to go for any of the big names because I know like if I make the first move, like I'm fucked. Is what I kind of thought. So
right,
yeah.
And I don't
maybe not. I don't know.
I don't disagree with that mindset at all because the way I've seen it is that some people who make big moves early on and they put themselves out there, they do. And Matt, I think we kind of saw this with you as well, that like the bigger and more prominent you are early on, the harder it's going to be for you to navigate by because everyone's eyes is going to be focused directly on you. And Matt, we did see that with you because people kept throwing votes at you. They kept throwing strays at you. So
I do think if Matt goes out when I go out, I don't think Chris or Sam really care probably as much. I think if Chris or Sam go out the round I go, I think it creates a lot of chaos on me because it's like, well, I don't know. If that would have happened, like Collin and them would have been on board and Matt wouldn't have had an idol. So, yeah, I mean, there wasn't many other avenues. I mean, like I said in the podcast, Collin doesn't win immunity there. He probably goes out instead of me. So, and then it's a whole different game for me. And who knows what happens? Maybe I'm on that swap tribe with Sam, and maybe the girls go with me, or maybe they go with Sam. I don't know. So,
all right. So another question is one more question I want to ask you, Devin, because I know I would want to ask you more, but I feel like I've already asked you a lot in the breakdown. So I kind of feel like we've heard a lot from what you said, not to stifle you or anything. But this season, obviously we had seen a lot of villainous moments, whether it's from you on the sidelines on the jury, having some fun over there. Well, Matt and his constant confessionals, we saw Sam. I feel like Sam took a bit of a heel turn and it's a bit of a villain arc. We kind of saw a lot of fun moments. Would you say that this was I can't speak today. Would you say that this season was almost like our definition of villains have more fun?
Yeah, I mean, they might have more fun. They might not win. I think it's more fun. I think it's more fun when you're like playing like looser and everything. And I think everyone does in their own way. I think it's one thing you can be villainous like in your interviews because no one in the game is going to see that in the moment. So I think that's the best time to do it because it's probably not going to have a repercussion unless you come back and people see it and are like, fuck that guy. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think Matt made the season entertaining to watch, to be honest. I think it's tough because Chris did play very good. I just think it's so tough in that room to hear what people are saying half the time, and I did my best to do the subtitles because it was just really hard to make it out. I do think the Orcus thing with Sam was pretty damn funny. I didn't know about that. That was pretty good. I mean, I definitely got to laugh at that since Sam got me out. Yeah, I definitely show my emotions, and I was definitely pissed. I glad some of it wasn't recorded, especially when I went off on Sam when he got out because I was so happy he got out. Not gonna lie, felt good. But
I wish I would have seen that. That would have been funny to see.
I mean,
fights are always fun to see within reason.
It wasn't a fight. It wasn't a fight. It wasn't a fight. It was me grilling Sam and Sam not budging like he does. Didn't really. He gave me his reasonings why, but it is what it is. I feel like if I stay in the game, maybe he goes further. But I just felt like I was the biggest shield out there, clearly. So
okay.
I mean, again, people go for me over winners. I get it, but
But I get the shield argument, but I don't think any of the girls were thinking about biggest threats or anything. They were going to go with like who they knew, and Chris, Matt, and I were the other side of that spectrum.
That's true. They probably would have went with me over you guys. I mean, maybe I don't know, but
just because we're on the Devin vote right now, I have a question. If that's
okay. Yeah, Chris, you say your thing, and then I just have one other thing for Devin and Sam before we start wrapping some stuff up.
Yeah.
So I think you guys might have talked about this on the podcast, but the biggest, not the biggest, but one of the turning points of me voting for Devin was because I was told that he was very wanting to keep the girls in. Then we watched, and it was the opposite, where he didn't want to, because I didn't want to vote Alejandro out. I don't know if anybody really.
No one did.
I don't know if anybody really did.
I think I was the one that started that train of getting him.
I know. I was saying
I knew what to do. Nobody knew what to do.
I'm personally victimized by Collin in this game. Call now.
So yeah, I guess I don't know. If Devin ever expressed wanting to keep the girls in the game, or Sam just made that up.
This is the only thing I said. Go ahead.
I could be remembering this one, but I feel like I remember a conversation ever is that I don't want to get them yet, or something like that. I could be wrong.
The only thing I said ever about the girls was when we were talking about it was. I don't think it was the round I got out. I think it was the round before, I believe, when we were talking about Abby or Alejandro. And I was like, yeah, I don't like Abby's easy vote, but I feel bad just going for the girl right away. I feel like that's the only thing.
I took that as all right, we don't have a lot of options.
No, I had no plans to really work with them. I mean, Miranda, just because I know her pretty damn well. But so Miranda, I don't think I would have turned on really. But my thought was it probably would have been good to get Collin out because then Miranda wouldn't have been with her in there. But the whole I honestly thought it was going to be individual the whole time, so that's what my mindset was. That's why I thought in the moment, like, why would you get me out? But yeah, I mean, I didn't really have any plans to go with the girls. I mean, I said that one thing. I just didn't want them to be the first out because I felt like it was kind of unfair. But that was the only time I really said, because every other thing you saw me say, like, I'm not going for any of them yet, but yeah.
There's also only 10 people, so it's like it's hard to. You don't have a lot of options.
Yeah, Miranda wants to say something that I really do need to ask a couple quick last-minute things. So, Miranda, you go first.
Can't hear you.
We can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now we can.
Okay. You guys keep saying, like, get the girls out. Like, the girls are together. Like, it's us versus the girls. Like, we didn't want to go for them first. But, like, if you guys would have done anything in your power to steer us one way or the other, we would have done it. So, like, that was a huge loss on all of your guys' parts because we had no idea what we were doing, and you guys knew that. And I saw that when you guys steered Abby, and then you guys voted me out. But, like, that's an easy gameplay for all of you for future things. Like, if there's a group of us that are easily torn apart, you can obviously do that because yes, we're friends going in.
I tried really hard to take advantage of that.
Yes, we're friends.
Pretty cool with that.
Yes, we're friends going in, but like it's a game and you're gonna go against your friends. That's the whole point of this. So future gameplay for all of you, just because we come in as friends doesn't mean you need to group us together and like do something about it. Goodbye.
All right, thanks, Miranda. All right, so one of the last couple things I want to mention, Devin, Sam, you were talking about the scene before about Devin, you were grilling Sam. Any type of reenactment that you guys want to get for us since we didn't get to see this clip or anything? Like any reenactment we can get just for shits and giggles.
This was me.
Yeah, Sam didn't say much.
I didn't say anything.
He said pretty much all Sam was like, yeah, that's fair. I get it. That was pretty much all he said.
What else was I going to say?
Yeah, it is what it is. I was, when I got out, I figured it had to do with them three because I'm like, I just don't see Collin going for me that quick.
I truly believe that. I don't know if Chris and Matt felt the same way. We didn't have a lot of places to go.
Yeah.
Outside of the three of us. And we went pretty much as far as you can go, and obviously you got to vote people out when you get to the end. So,
all right, perfect. Before we get to the fan vote, obviously a lot of things come up within a season. Maybe some things weren't said before. Is there any last minute things anyone wants to say before we reveal the results of the fan vote about anything whatsoever?
I mean, I feel bad voting Devin out. I still do because it wasn't up to me. Honestly, it was
Devin. You see that? Isn't that like weird to hear? True. Like, it might be true, but it's like
I told Devin when I wrote down that vote, I said I had no option. It was my only option because there was no time to go talk to Devin.
That's true.
It was right when we were going to tribal council, you said we're voting.
That's
Devin.
An underrated part of it. Like just the where we were was kind of a weird place to be for Survivor.
I had
everybody
no time
was. You could pretty much if you were talking like this, you could hear what everybody
was.
It was
a really quick round too.
Oh, it felt like they were all quick, and you ran here, and no offense, Miranda, but a lot of the groups were so wishy-washy, and it's like you could not. I don't know if you guys felt the same way. There's no way you could feel confident going to the vote with their saying, yeah, we're gonna. They just never did. It was so wishy-washy, and we had two girls. They might go against each other, or they'll draw a rock to see which one of them goes home. So like, I don't know if I buy like a lot of that. So it was just it was more of the. We didn't have a lot of options. It was fast. It was like, what do you want to do? That first vote, I had no idea what I was going to do when we sat down.
I didn't think it was going to go the way I thought it was either. And then I saw 6-4, so I knew I had Collin and Miranda on my side for a little bit, and then the next vote happened. So,
all right. Any other last quick things before the fan vote? Because I think this will be kind of interesting for you guys to look at one way or another.
Congrats.
I just want to ask this to Devin and Richie because you guys run the show. If there's ever a scenario where there's 10 people again, are you going to do the season or are you going to wait till there's more?
I'm not doing 10 people ever again. I mean, Cabin Fever was different because I booked a whole Airbnb, and we did have like 14 people, and literally the night before, 4 people got.
Yeah, like I can kind of vouch for that too. That I was actually a last-second edition. I think like a couple days before too. Like I actually
was unfortunate. Like there's not much you can do about that.
Yeah, I mean, I will say like I will say like, and I did say to Richie and Christian like the weekend before we did this past season. I said if there's only 10 people, I texted. I said if there's only 10 people playing, I don't want this to happen. And it is what it is. So yeah,
that's all.
Just because when I wanted to come back, I wanted it to be like a bigger type of season. So it is what it is. It's tough to get people. So
yeah, I mean, Matt, to answer your question from my side of it, if I was in a spot where like I had to, I probably would just go all individual. I don't want to shit on Christian or anything, but I think it's funny. I would think that split tribal thing. I don't want to shit on him.
That's on you.
I don't. The split tribal thing was not my idea whatsoever, and I do totally think it was interesting to experiment and see how that went out. But I will say that was not my idea whatsoever. I actually thought we initially were going to go all individual with it, so I probably would have leaned that because I do think it's a little bit of an interesting thing to see that dynamic of Emma going individual. So if I was in a spot where I had to have a game with only 10 people, I probably would lean towards all individual unless there's a very specific theme that I'd be trying to go for. But 9 out of 10 times, I would probably lean towards all individuals. So if I had to. So.
Also, Richie, I don't know if you know this, but the comeback challenge, one of my words was wrong. I don't know if you noticed it. I know you didn't.
Because cheating a couple times. Jeez, Sam.
Well,
we realized it in McDonald's.
I know. I was thinking about it. I'm like, wait a minute. One of my words was definitely wrong. I said tension, and there was no S in any of those words.
I don't know if I would. I mean, I did have 12. I don't think I would have got more. I wish I just could have gave you a run for your money on that challenge. You ended up winning later on for the comeback. I wish that was a comeback.
Sorry, Richie. I had to bring it up. Well, it's like, yeah, it's not my fault that they didn't catch it. Like,
it's not.
It's like getting the puzzle wrong and they say it's right.
Right.
One quick thing, like just what Miranda said. I don't know if I 100% agree with what she said because before the game, I wasn't surprised when Abby joined us on those votes because I knew right away Julia and Caitlin, before Abby got there, were laughing about how they were going to vote Abby off later in the game. I thought it would be very funny. Yeah. So I knew right away that they were willing to do that and that, I mean, they weren't maybe
not the greatest
super close. I've ever seen. So, yeah, that's why I wasn't too surprised when Abby came with us, I guess.
All right, as much as I'd love to keep the conversations going, I do think we should be talking about the fan votes. Now there were 3 fan votes. I hope you guys can't see my screen right now if I pulled it up.
Just Sam. I didn't set that up. I don't think you're able to.
Good. I just want to make sure. Because I'm looking at the screen right now. So the fan favorite votes, the first vote we have this commonly. I was the first one who won that. Fun fact about that. So this one essentially is who the audience believed was their favorite. The votes kind of came down to only 3 people. So in third place was Dolphin Sam.
I'll take it. Bronze.
Who the hell voted that?
What?
Thank you. That was not my. I didn't vote in this, so that was not me.
He was entertaining.
Second place was Abby. Okay, I thought there would have been a
power is like.
Yeah, she definitely had some of the funnier moments with her not playing her idol for Miranda to maybe keep Miranda in the game and keep going, or could have played it for herself, and just.
I think my points of the camera solidified my points.
All right, and then the final person who got votes and the winner of the fan favorite award for the season. I thought you guys would have did a drum roll. Okay, congratulations, Matt. You're the fan favorite of this season.
Good job, Matt.
Damn, the fan should have voted for the winner, I guess.
Jeez.
Okay, Russell, calm down.
So I get to give a speech or no?
No speech.
I'm actually going to have you wait a little bit because the next up we do have the Player of the Season award. The one where basically the audience votes on who they believe played a really great game, whether things dynamic, they like the moves they made or anything. This one, instead of the other one where it's above anyone who had played the game, this one was people who only made the top 6. So this one was only between Chris, Matt, Julia, Dolphin Sam, Collin, and Caitlin. In third place for the Player of the Season award was Collin. Second place for the Player of the Season award, 2 people tied for this in second place, which being Chris and Dolphin Sam.
That's a tough break, Chris. Winner, and you don't get the Player of the Season award.
Drum roll, please. The winner of the Player of the Season award for this season is, once again, congratulations, Matt.
Wow.
Player of the Season of the season. I don't know if we've had this.
Did you just vote for yourself 100 times?
No, I think I voted for myself once because I tried doing it again and it wouldn't let me.
I did the email.
You pulled up different emails.
That's why I told her to do the email thing.
Thanks to all who voted.
I will say I voted for Matt, and I'm so happy he won because this is
Player of the Season or fan favorite?
I voted for both for Matt because I knew he needed something, and to get that participation trophy of the Player of the Season, I know it'll make him happy inside.
I'm sweeping the award so far. That's all I can ask for.
All right, well, Matt, you can't get this last award because it's a new award, actually, that only the last placing 4 players were eligible for. It's a new award. It's a new award called the Robbed Early Bird. Essentially, it's for the people who didn't really
made for Devin.
Yeah,
this is the
NBA. I saw them like that is so targeted towards Devin right there.
I said the same thing. Colin.
When
Richie announced this on the podcast, I said right away, I did not make this up. I had no idea he was doing
that. There's no way Devin doesn't have a say in this one.
I suggested it because I feel like a lot of seasons we do have some very interesting people who don't really get to play that much or go far, and I think it's really interesting to see, like, you know, if there are any like pre-jurors or pre-mergers or whatever from each season, or even early boots from each season that maybe like should get that people think like, oh, like if they would have went farther, I think maybe they could have did well or whatever. The 4 people eligible, as I said, were Alejandro, Devin, Miranda, and Abby. There were only 2 people who don't vote for it. In second place was Alejandro. And since you guys love being psychics so much, the first winner of the Rob Early Bird Award is Devin.
No, that's rude. That's a bad thing. Don't clap.
I'm kidding. I'm clapping for Richie for making that award.
Yeah, I mean Richie. So Richie, you're gonna do this award every season?
I would hope to.
You have to. You almost have to.
There are some people who don't really make it to the merge or the jury who I really do think should get a little bit more love because of the fact that they do take time out of their day to come over and play the game. They don't get an opportunity to really play it again. Sometimes it is because of the fact that they played bad. Sometimes it's because of the fact that some people get screwed due to certain twists or certain things going on. I think a great example of that is Addie from our last season, Captain's Curse, where I don't think she was playing. I don't know if I'd say the best game ever. I don't think she was far. I think she was far from the worst game in her tribe. And because Andy had an idol, everyone starts freaking out, going left and right, like, what the hell are we going to do? And then it just kind of falls into Abby, where in that situation, I probably would have gone for Andy. So, yeah. So, Devin, anything you want to say about getting that award like everyone predicted you probably would have?
Congrats, Dev.
No, guys, we can't be doing this today.
This is so bad.
Look at his face. See, this is bad. This is awful. That's so.
Yeah, I mean, I think I know why you did it, Richie. Like, I think it would have been better on like last season where it was mainly new people, or like Summer Solstice. It was maybe a lot of new people. But I mean, you probably didn't intend it this way, but I knew I was probably going to win that. I appreciate if that was the reason or not. But yeah, I mean, fuck you guys for voting me out.
Yeah, I definitely.
Richie,
I did not make
that's an all-time award right there. That you.
Okay.
And
do we have any news on future plans, or do we not have any news?
I don't really think I should be saying much of anything because I think Devin, unless there's any maintenance things you want to say for the Idol Identifiers account.
Well, I appreciate everyone who watched. It was definitely unfortunate. Like, you know, I don't care about the views, but it was the least watched season by far, unfortunately. But that's all right. Probably because we saw a lot of familiar faces, and definitely was the Matt show. So I guess they don't like you, Matt. But
well, I have a question. I have a question there. So, like you said, the familiar faces.
Yeah.
Almost wouldn't it be better if there were more familiar faces? They wouldn't back get more views, do you think?
That's what you would think, but like it's weird, dude. Like Legends, where we had like everybody, and like
Best
Evolution.
season.
Yeah, and Evolution, where you two played, Matt, or you three played. They didn't get like a ton of views. I think it's because a lot of people that watch probably played, and some people don't like watching it back. I mean, one of our most viewed seasons was last season with a lot of new people. So I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. I think it's just about when it is. I think in the summer, more people are looking for something to watch. I don't really care if it gets views. I mean, if it ever did blow up, I'm going to get copyrighted because this is Survivor, probably. But
the music.
I just do it because it's fun. I love it, and it's cool. We have our own thing. But for the future, like you were asking Sam, I mean, I'm going to keep trying to push for like a season with all new people that don't really know each other, like it is intended to be like in the real show. It's just so hard to find that. With Andrea Belke from Survivor, she has her own thing going, and I've talked to some people that are big Survivor fans that maybe I could get in a season. So we'll see on that. I'm targeting the next season to be end of June. I don't know if it's going to happen or not. It's too early to say. But I really want to try to get a season with a lot of new people where it's majority new people just to see how it goes. And, I think, it's not like we want to save people to play again. It's just, it's got to be the right time. Like, I think sometimes it's like, oh, we're just trying to get a season in. So we ask people, but I'm really trying to intend it where try to get new people and see where it goes. And then I think that creates a lot of other avenues because it's like, we all don't know those people really, and they don't know us. So I think it makes stuff more fair almost too, and more unpredictable.
Yeah.
I'll say that that April Fool's joke was awful. I was so happy,
dude. That was good.
Me and Matt were both like.
I texted him. I said, "This is sick as fuck."
I was like,
"That's what I thought
so
too." Like, that's
what was it again? Somebody explain it to me. What was it?
The April Fool's joke was essentially put on the account that I think it was like Ben from Survivor 46, Rachel from Survivor 47. It was Andrea Belke, and I think it was Genevieve from 47. We're gonna come.
It was just them three.
Yeah, it's just those. Sorry,
and Kyle. And Kyle.
Yeah, there was like. Yeah, there was like a bunch of people who were gonna come in, and like the minute he put it up, I literally thought to myself, "What day is it today?" And I immediately texted the account, and I'm like, "Yeah, you're so full of shit. I know what day it is." And you say a question
That's
mark.
funny.
I'm like, come on, like I knew exactly what was going on.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
I thought that was a good one.
There's a lot of people like that were texting me and Christian like wanting to play in it and thought it was real. So that's why I was like, I gotta eventually say something. But honestly, me and Christian do know Andrew pretty well. So like it could happen. Like it could maybe happen in the future because she knows those people and I met them personally too. It would be cool to do that, I think. But it's like they're probably gonna have huge targets because they played the real show.
Yeah,
that's so but it would be cool. But I like I said, I'm targeting new people. So if new people are watching this by chance, I mean, reach out to our Instagram and maybe we'll get you on if you're not weird.
Yeah, no more fat Kyles.
Kyle also.
All right, so unless there's any other last minute things people want to say before I conclude everything.
Congrats, Chris. Definitely deserved the win.
Jack Flower.
I'll say good job, Chris. Thanks again, Richie, even though Sam made me think otherwise. I mean, I'll say it that you showed great enthusiasm. You did a great job hosting. So did Christian. Could have been better. I thought you did good, and it was a step up from the guest host of Hunter, who was just miserably bad.
Thank you, Matt. All right, so unless any other last things are going to be said, I will.
Oh, and Devin, as always, great job with the videos.
Yep.
I'm sure those take a while to upload and edit, and you do a good job. And
if we ever do a Winners at War, Devin, you need to find a way to make that one promo they had. You know what I'm talking about? With the song. You got to find a way to do that. I don't know how you're going to do that.
Yeah, I mean, Winners at War, there's people that probably will never play again, but who knows? Maybe in.
How many do we have now?
We have
15 winners. Chris is the 15th. 16 seasons, but someone won twice.
Who won twice?
Hunter.
Christian? Hunter?
Yep.
Yeah. My first season wasn't. My first season was a season. I'll say that.
Did Christian win Legends? Right.
Yep.
You're welcome.
Great
Christian.
season. Go watch that if you haven't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is a great season. Actually,
Yeah.
Never felt as much stress in my life.
Yeah, I bet, dude.
I felt stressed and I was filming.
I had like 15 total votes and like 3 tribal councils.
I don't know how he pulled that off, to be honest. I mean, some stuff happened towards the end, of course, but it was.
I mean,
some stuff.
That guy to me remain
old wounds, old wounds.
Biggest loser of all time.
We don't need to name names.
Nope.
I never named the name. I'm just saying this.
I know. I thought you were going to. I thought you were heading to that direction.
No names. No names named. It could be you.
I wasn't there at that point, so I was gone.
I was, and I'm not going to say anything about it because I don't think it should be on air because I don't know.
It's probably on air in other videos, but we'll move on.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
Would you? This is my last question because I know it's taking.
Okay.
This is taking a while. Devin, would you ever do another 2-night season?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I would love to. It just has to be the right time, and only not many people have a house to do that. So like we'd have to do Airbnb that costs money. So it'd have to be like a big time season. But there's this Airbnb like in the area that's really expensive, but it's like it looks like you're in the jungle and stuff. It's really cool. So maybe that'd be cool.
Those challenges were one of the more intense, just unbelievable. I mean, the whole time my stomach was just in and out.
Sam, you don't even know that challenge. You weren't even in that challenge where we had to like stop.
I heard about it.
Like, well, I ran off the puke. I was gonna come back, and then like I come back and we're like inside. Of, like, oh well, we're done with that challenge. And I'm like, really? I wanted to like go.
Devin, what was going through your head? And they were like, what did we do?
Everyone was getting hurt.
I messed up. I had the right.
It was really a bad challenge, though. I think it was just more the fact that
there wasn't enough rules established.
I think the only thing I didn't like was we had to have 4 on one side, and it wasn't just majority rule. That's the only thing I thought. But other than that, I thought it was a great challenge. I loved it. So I personally liked it. So
it definitely made people actually like dislike each other because like in the real show, people on other like when tribes going out there actually don't like each other, and that was like the first time.
I still laugh about how Adam and Vin thought they were going to win that challenge because this was right after the swap, right? And they weren't automatically winning because my tribe, the new swap tribe, Tribe Garcia, I think is what we were called. And we were actually keeping up pretty good with them. I don't know who specifically that was or whatever reason, but we actually had. Sorry, Corey said something fun. I really thought it was a fun challenge, though. Vin and Adam were immediately mad they weren't winning. And then they turn over to our tribe and they're like, well, we have 2 girls. You only have 1. And I remember Em immediately starts like screaming at Vin and Adam as they're saying this. Like, and like Maggie and Steph just look so pissed off as they're saying that. Like it was just fun drama. It was fun drama. You know, it's another reason I love it.
It's good to look back at the past, but let's finish this off.
Yeah, no, exactly. I was about to finish it off. So
I'm gonna close with one more comment. It's gonna be 2 seconds.
Okay, very quick, Matt.
I think we got to bring back Vin. He was one of my all-time favorite Whitewater guys.
Yeah, he was good.
But I don't know where he lives, and we're not going to dox him on air. But
right.
All right, so I'm gonna stop it here. Sorry if there's something you guys didn't get to say, but it's been almost 90 minutes now, so I know people have lives, and I know people don't want to be here all night. They certainly don't want to hear me all night.
You gotta eat dinner still, Richie.
I do have to eat dinner still. It's already at 9:47. I never eat dinner. Okay. So it's going to be conclusion of the Survivor 1 World 2 reunion. Thank you guys so much for watching this season. Thank you so much. If you have not already watched past episodes, please go do that and show some love. Thank you everyone to playing. Again, Chris, congratulations on winning the game. Matt and Devin, congrats on your award wins this season. I will say, Devin, you can shake your head all you want. I did not intend that specifically for you. All right. So
that's all right. I appreciate it, Richie.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So I'm so happy you won. Yeah, and again, thank you guys so much for watching. Keep tuned for anything else we say or do on our Instagram or our YouTube channel, anything whatsoever. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great night, everyone.
Thanks, Richie.
Thanks Richie. Thanks, Devin.
Thanks, Richie.
Yep.
Thanks, Devin.
Matt, get out of there quick.
It's still going.
Live. Yeah, we're live.